Well, good afternoon, folks. It's Saturday, September 2nd. Got some nice hot weather today. Got some nice hot weather coming for the next week. But we've got the 786 and the 541C and the accumulator in tow behind me here. We're headed off to Snurs to go ahead and start baling the last of our third cutting. Been kind of touch and go getting things finished up here lately with hay. Just dry weather just hasn't seemed to be something that we've had too much of. Finished up cover crops this morning. Been a busy day so far, so we're going to grab the baler here, get on down the road, and see if we can make some nice dirt cutting hay today. So, get after it. It's kind of difficult to do one-handed. I think I did pretty good at it, huh? Well, I'm not sure how today is going to work out as far as having stuff raked ahead of me. I usually do a lot of the raking ahead of the baler, and then Dad will take over whenever we get the baler going, or vice versa, whatever happens. But today, we were just so busy. Dad finished up cover crops this morning. I did a bunch of brush hogging. Then he braked for lunch, and I did a little bit more work, and then Mom called and said we had a calf born out in the middle of a pasture, so I had to take the Ranger and go wrestle that thing, and didn't get over here in the time frame that I would have liked to. So unfortunately didn't get anything really raked ahead of the baler before I got here. So kind of debating whether I should just go ahead and shut this thing off and run and go grab the 884 and the 95 XT. That'd be a better use of my time rather than running him down, because this baler, I'll inhale that windrow in 20 seconds and I'll be up on top of him before you know it. So I think maybe we're just going to go ahead and do that. Yeah, they could be a little tighter. So I backed them off. Last time I baled, we were baling some stuff that was a little bit on the tough side, trying to get some done ahead of a rainstorm. it didn't work out. It got drowned. So that stuff was junk. But anywho's, so I backed it off to try to allow it to breathe a little more. So I just retensioned it about a turn. They're ranging anywhere from probably about 14 to 15, maybe some on the 16 on the high side. This is grass. This stuff will dry nice. So go ahead and gobble this all up. Just got done bringing the 95 XT over, hooking the grapple bucket up to it. Dad's still raking. So I'm going to work on getting this stuff gobbled up behind him. And here shortly we will have a bunch of bales we got to go pick up. So, got to get her going. Well, I thought I had my issue I was talking about in the previous video resolved, where I was talking about how this last row that would go in this accumulator, you'd get 4 bales in here before it would trip. I thought I resolved that. What I ended up doing is I took a bungee cord down here, hooked it on the end where the linkage goes, and hooked it back here to get a little bit more pressure on this when it goes to trip, you know, almost like a spring would, something to pull that a little bit more. It's kind of like a spring assist, I guess you could say. And that has been working up until today. Now I've had 3 different times where I've had that 4th bale end up in that chute, and I don't know why. I guess I just quite don't have it figured out what's wrong. Everything appears to be adjusted correctly. Most of this doesn't have adjustment. It's a straight linkage, it's straight bolted. There's no adjustment to it. Guess I'm gonna have to kind of tinker with it for a little bit. It might be into next year before I get it finally resolved. I had a couple questions asked once, well, maybe twice. I had somebody ask how we fared out with an 80 horse tractor on the front of a baler here, and it works out good. We've never had any issues with it. Always had plenty of horsepower. This is older iron, so it does have a bigger displacement motor in it compared to a new tractor. Everything now is a small 4-banger that's turboed, so you know the old saying, there's no replacement for displacement. I live by that. These old tractors, you know, they got a big inline 6 motor and they might only be rated for 80 horsepower, but they're naturally aspirated. They're a big cube motor compared to a modern tractor, so I've never had any issues without having, you know, not having enough power. Had somebody ask me if I had any nodder issues. Really, nothing related to a tractor. I have had, you know, the bill hooks on here have needed a little bit of adjustment. They weren't dragging across tight enough to wipe the twine off. So a couple adjustments with the old ball peen hammer, and that seemed to resolve that issue. I should shut up. It's been working good. I should shut up. But Another question asked was if you had any excessive pressure added to the plunger because you're pushing these bales up this incline here. And I guess I've not noticed any issues. I haven't read of any issues. There is a little piece in place here. You can see it's not doing anything right now because this bale is currently in the transition between the bale chamber and the accumulator incline here. But once it gets up here to where the end of the bale gets beyond this point here, you can actually see on these bales here, these lines where this thing is kind of dragging along, and when it gets to the end, the bale kind of sits on that. So really, there's not a lot of added pressure. I know they talk about you're not supposed to run your hydroformatic tensioning as high as you typically do. I like to run mine right about that 3 and 4. I know a couple guys say that's a little bit too much, but I haven't had any issues, and we don't really abuse our machinery. It all gets good maintenance, and I make nice dense bales. I like my bales dense for storage purposes. I like to have a nice dense bale, so I guess I haven't deviated from that. We're going to be doing a lot more marketing hay now, so I might have to lighten them up a little bit as far as customer base. They might not exactly like handling 70, 75 pound bales every day, whereas myself, I guess I'm kind of young yet, I don't really notice it. But yeah, it's kind of just a little talking point I wanted to bring up here, talk about that and that issue I was having. I hope I get it figured out soon. That would be very nice. But in the meantime, I guess you just got to watch when you get to that last run. You got to count for 3 bales. If you got 3 bales and you don't hear that click and see the bales going out, get off and just come back here, and I just take my foot and I push down right here, and that'll kind of release that and let that end gate drop out. So that's what I do. It's not perfect, but hey, it's better than having to go back and retrieve a 4th bale like I just had to do because I didn't see it happen. So get back to baling here. Well, we got everything all baled. I just got done taking the baler back to the west barn, putting it away. There's a bunch of dirt on the camera. Anyways, just got done taking the tractor and baler and accumulator back to the west barn, put it away. This is the last of our 3rd cutting we had to make, so we probably won't be baling for a while again. Kind of don't know if we're going to be able to bale fourth cutting. It just depends on the weather. We've had a tough time getting third cutting dry this year. Just haven't had really good drying weather, and this is the second day of September here, so the next shot is going to be end of September. It's probably going to be getting pretty cold by then, so at least as far as having morning dews and cool temps into the day. So I don't know how much dry baling we're actually going to get done, so kind of thinking about running the chopper. You going that way? Running the chopper on fourth cutting. Either that or figuring else, something else to do with it. But haven't chopped any hay this year so far. It's all been baled. Someday I'll get into why that's happening, but not today. But yeah, we're getting wrapped up here. Gonna get the rest of these bales picked up, get everything taken home, put away. Then we'll probably call it a day, because it's buffering on 8 o'clock here now. It's 7:45, so time I get all this stuff back home, put away, and wrapped up for the day. I think Dad and I will be tired for the day, and I think we'll call it a day. But, we'll bounce across this rough field here and watch out for groundhog holes, because you know those things are wonderful. And pick up the rest of the hay. Guess I'll talk to you later.